Hello everyone, my name is Nayeon Kim at Hyunsoo University in Seoul, South Korea. This is a special moment that I give a presentation on the very first virtual conference. And I'm going to talk about my ongoing research topic, visual attention in retail environments. So the main contents consist of introduction part, motivation, and research objective. Next, literature review will be discussed, and I'm going to talk about the methodology about how I conducted this research, and the result and conclusion will be the last part. So why I started this study? There has been a digital transformation in the retail industry for past few years. But current COVID-19 pandemic situation even accelerated its speed. As you see here, the figure shows that the retail sales rapidly declined this year in Asia Pacific, and my research will benefit retail companies and designers for enhancing their retail environments. The impact of digital transformation made huge changes in shopping experience and consumption patterns. For example, you can even purchase a car entirely online. So the problems that I found is the rise of online shopping has caused offline stores to close. Unfortunately, many retail companies are going bankrupt. The data show that 25,000 stores of U.S. retailers are predicted to close this year. In South Korea, offline retail shares dropped below 60% last year. Among today's rise of online shopping, offline retail stores are traditionally focusing on driving sales. But now it should become a center to provide experiential value. So it is so important to understand how customers experience in the retail stores and their visual interest. However, there's lack of research to evaluate visual attention on spatial design elements in retail environments. Given the research gap, I investigated where customers focusing on their attention and how they perceive visual merchandising in retail environments. To pursue research objective, I reviewed the relative literatures about eye trackings and visual merchandising. And I'm going to talk about methodology, how I conducted this research, which are eye tracking experiment using VR system and surveys. So about literature review, eye tracking methodology has been widely used in cognitive science, consumer behavior, psychology, and design analysis research. However, most of the research in this area has been focusing on visual elements of products and packaging design. But unlike previous retailing study, this research tackled the spatial experience and visual merchandising perceptions in the retail environments. And also the theoretical background of visual merchandising was reviewed. And visual merchandising is making merchandise attractive and selling merchandise through visual medias. And it contributes to brand image and increase the likelihood that customers will make purchase. And visual merchandising cognition is the visual perception of store characteristics associated with the brand image. So how I conducted this research? First of all, I developed the stimuli that I used for head-mount display. And I recruited participants who are the target customers for this retail brand. and then I conducted experiments using VR systems and biosensors of eye tracking. After experiments, the post-survey was conducted, and then I collected eye tracking data and self-reporting data and evaluated retail environments. For the purpose of this study, I selected one global retail brand, and the site was the retail store called Hyundai Motor Studio in Seoul. The retail space was sales areas for premium cars and economic cars, and 360-degree panoramic images are rendered for experimental use. So here are the example and photos for experimental setup. Each experiment was conducted individually with the researcher for about 30 minutes. In the experimental lab, the participants wore a head-mounted display device with integrated eye tracking. So each participant was taken through a calibration procedure prior to the main experiment. So during the main experiment, each participant were asked to look at two images of 360 virtual retail spaces. Each image was showing for 60 seconds and to collect eye tracking data and visual attention patterns on each stimulus. After the experiment was complete, the participants were asked to answer survey questionnaires regarding demographics, the sense of presence of VR experience, and visual merchandising cognition. So how to measure visual attention and perception of visual merchandising. And here I'm showing the biometric indicators to understand visual attentions from eye tracking. And the next one is perception of merchandising. The variables are like categorized as harmonies, attractiveness, trendiness, and capabilities and functionality of retail environments. So here is the video showing individual participants' visual patterns, and this illustrates scan path for 60 seconds. So now I'm going to talk about the analysis results and findings. So in order to analyze visual attention, area of interest for spatial elements are defined. And here are the data analysis for each stimulus. This included sequence of fixation, total time of fixation, and entry time, and the first fixation and the average fixation, and the fixation count and revisits on each spatial element. So first of all, the sales area for premium cars. So in the sales area for premium cars, participants pays more attention on the premium lounge and unique structural element of the ceiling. In the lounge area, various components for manufacture of premium cars are displayed to visually provide specific product information and brand communication to customers. In the sales area for economic cars, the total fixation time was the longest was on ceiling and the wall area. But participants paid more attention to the cars than the environments. But in both areas, participants paid a significant amount of attention to the architectural elements of unique industrial steel pipes on ceilings for the most. So this means people are interested in what's in common in architectural elements, which conveys brand identity associated with an automobile manufacturer. So the result showed that every detail within architectural element should be designed to create synergy toward holistic brand experience. So the physical retail environment should be utilized as part of a marketing strategy for brand building. And also survey results show that participants generally felt the attractiveness of this space make products more appealing because it creates interesting spatial impression with eye-catching display. So finally, here comes the conclusion. This study takes integrated approach to understand consumers' spatial experience in retail space using biometric from eye tracking and virtual reality. And this study contributes to build evidence-based design insights in terms of consumers' visual attention to retail spaces. And this study is preliminary research in its contents, but it will serve as departure point to build on how to engage customer-oriented experience. So I believe the approach and finding will provide useful information and practical guidelines to retailers and designers for improving retail environments. So that's all I have today, and thank you so much for your time and attention, and let me know if you have any questions and comments. And thank you.